Hey, everybody, it's Thursday morning in Georgia. That means community focus. Faith, how's it going?
Going great. Beautiful
Hey,
day in Georgia.
yeah, you're here at the commission. I'm here at the commission, and we got a boatload of folks here from Dahlonega. And for those of you out of town, and we're broadcasting on 4 Facebook pages, Twitter, YouTube, Periscope. I know it looks like Dahlonega. I know it looks like that, but it's not Dahlonega. So we're gonna teach you how to say it. We're gonna talk to you about why Dahlonega was famous, why it was the home of the original gold rush. So let's say hey to everybody. Marcus Sewell, he's a captain up there, and he's going to do our human trafficking segment. How's it going, Marcus?
Good. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Keith Wade over at the Baptist Campus Ministry. A warm place in my heart, Keith, because I met my wife at the BCM at the University of Georgia. You're there at the University of North Georgia. Welcome to Community Focus.
Welcome. It's glad to be on.
My friend Andrew Lane, he is Captain Planet. He's got it going on at his house. He's got composting. He's got solar. He's got battery. He's got the electric car. If you want to know about renewables, he's the guy. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And we're going to move everybody to the green room and leave the mayor of Dahlonega up. Mayor, do you ever hear anybody try to pronounce Dahlonega up there?
Yeah, Dahlonega is typically the way it comes across. If you're trying to use Siri, you need to say Dahlonega. It hears it better. But the word Dahlonega is actually a Cherokee Indian term that means gold in color, which of course goes back to our roots of being the first gold rush in the United States, first major gold rush, and that's what Dahlonega originally was all about. Was a first gold rush in the United States, but the new gold in these hills are wineries and vineyards. That's what we're looking for now.
They're all over the place up there now.
They are. That's the new gold in these hills.
Well, my assistant, Faith Henning, she matriculated. I bet y'all don't say matriculated up in Dahlonega. Faith, you went to school up there. How was it living up there in the mountains?
I loved it. I lived in an apartment on campus that overlooked the campus and the mountains. Nothing does my heart better than seeing the Blue Ridge Mountains as I come up 400 through Dawsonville and I get that first glimpse. It's like coming home. I love Dahlonega.
Yeah, Mayor, University of North Georgia, y'all have a military component to that school up there, and that means you've got a lot of cadets in town. How does that affect the flavor of the community?
Well, we don't have a lot of problematic cadets. They mind very well.
It's the rest of us, right?
Yeah, highly disciplined. So anyway, we are, I think, the premier, or right in line with the top 2 or 3 military colleges in the country, and it's always we're either in first place, second place, or third place every year. And it's pretty tough competition for them. So we're real proud of our military component here at the University of North Georgia in Dahlonega. So Faith, you're right. When you turn that corner and you see that great backdrop of the mountain scenery, I call that the pressure release valve right there.
That's how I feel coming around that curve. And you get right there by the hotel and you go, oh, I'm home.
Much fewer bugs than in South Georgia and about 10 degrees cooler. Everything's just better in the mountains.
Yeah, wow. I agree.
Hey, Mayor, I mean, tourism is still a big deal for y'all. I know I've gotten fudge at your fudge shop up there in the square, because you still got that little square. You got that gold mine or gold museum, and folks still actually paying for gold. I see where you can actually pay and they give you a bucket and you can have buckets. How does all that work?
Well, our economy in Dahlonega, Lumpkin County is tourism based. The topo is really up and down, not a lot of flat land. So we'll never be big manufacturers of anything other than tourism. So that's where we do best. And talking about green things, it's real green. People come and visit, they leave their money, and then they go away. So that's about as green of an economy as you can have. We're about an hour north of Atlanta, straight up 400, but we're also about 20 years behind the times, and we're good with that. That's where we want to be. Our population in Dahlonega is roughly 7,000, but we punch much higher than our weight class. We have a college, University of North Georgia, is roughly 8,000 students and 2,000 staff, and any given time we'll probably have about 3,000 tourists in town. So our daytime population is roughly 12,000, give or take, which that's good for a community of our size, except we also have some of the most generous property tax exemptions in the state. So we're trying to run a city and provide all the infrastructure and service delivery. And we're also one of the most desirable places to retire because of our tax exemptions. So all that comes into play when you're trying to make things happen. So talking about tourism, one thing Dahlonega is, of course, known for is our wine industry. We just had a designation, geographic designation of the Dahlonega Plateau for our vineyards. And what that means is, much like when I say the words Napa Valley, you immediately think of a certain class of wine. So Dahlonega, by legislative action, is not only the wine tasting capital of Georgia, but we also have the distinction of being the Dahlonega Plateau, which is a geographic distinction that is very similar to places in Italy and France, as far as our temperature and the soil makeups and things. So we've got 5 multi-million-dollar wineries, and one of the wineries is actually in town, a vineyard and winery in our city limits. So that is highly unusual. And,
hey, maybe, Mayor, you know how Helen kind of remade itself, and I've written articles about how Helen was on the path to Hiwassee, and all of the Helen officials were trying to figure out how to get people to stop in Helen on their way to the Mountain Fair, to the Georgia Mountain Fair, and they turned their community into an alpine village. Maybe you guys should consider modifying and coming up with a French pronunciation for the town, right? And go with this French theme and really kind of take off on that. I mean, it could be a thing.
Well, we're very comfortable in our Appalachian heritage. A lot of times we'll get people from Atlanta trying to escape the concrete and the heat, and they'll come up and walk on our sidewalks and think they're on the Appalachian Trail, and we're good with that. It's 20 years behind the times, and very, very comfortable in that. But one thing that really put us on the map is our festivals. It seems like we have a festival almost every month. So the Bear on the Square Festival, which is a celebration of Appalachian music and heritage. Gold Rush Festival, which of course celebrates Gold Rush, is one of the largest festivals in Georgia. And,
it was a decade before I missed one of those.
Gold Rush has been going on for about 75 years. And it's actually put on by the JCs, which is only 10 members.
Hey, Mayor, I was up there for that festival one time in the parade. I don't know what I was doing in the parade. Maybe I was campaigning or something, but there was some train-like float, and that guy was behind me, and he let loose on an air horn, a train air horn. And I think I had one of my kids on my back or something, and I thought my child was going to go into cardiac arrest when that train air horn went. I mean, that thing's loud enough coming down the track, but when it's like right there behind, you know what I'm talking about, Mayor? You heard that train?
Oh yeah, I think they still do it. We've got the Trail Fest, which the Appalachian Trail, is in Lumpkin County, and so we celebrate. We have a festival for the Appalachian Trail. Old Fashioned Christmas is a few months celebration with parades and tree festivals and just stuff like that too. So that's what we're about. We're about tourism and the Appalachian heritage. Yeah.
Mayor, I went to Tybee Island and I helped them with a few things. The mayor of Tybee gave me a key to the city, and she told me it opened every door except the jail door. That was the only door. that it didn't open. But I need to come up there. I need to get a key to that city up there. I mean, yeah, I need to come up there, Faith.
If they would trust me with one, I would pass it straight to you. But
Oh, the mayor doesn't even have a key himself.
no,
Oh, my
no,
goodness.
they don't give me
Commissioner,
anything important.
I'll do you one better on that parade story. I rode my horse in the Gold Rush parade one year.
Oh no. Oh no.
It was the most terrifying horse riding experience I've ever had. There were kids running up because they still throw candy in that parade. And so there were kids running up underneath my horse. It was terrifying, but it was so much fun.
That's a lot of fun.
Mayor, we got to say goodbye because I've got a hard stop here in just a bit for committee. So thank you for everything. And I can't wait to get up there and maybe see some of the things I haven't seen in a while. So, yeah, God bless you.
Thanks, Mayor.
See ya. Hey, Faith, I've got some clicking. We got some clicking coming off of the captain's audio. I'm not sure why, but I'm hearing it. But we're going to go ahead and say hey to Captain Sewell. Captain,
Absolutely.
How's it going?
Good. How are you doing this morning?
Good. We're faintly hearing you. Faith, this is probably beyond what our audience can tolerate.
Yeah, we'll probably. How about Marcus? I'll just mute your mic, and I can go ahead and tell them about why we have you on. So Lumpkin County has the distinction of being the first county in the state that trained all of their school employees and all of their sheriff's office employees in something called Darkness to Light, which is a specific training that is designed to teach the people who take it how to respond to and how to prevent childhood sexual abuse. And the reason we're talking about that is because we know in the human trafficking prevention community that one of the key risk factors for being trafficked, for children to be trafficked later in life or to be sexually exploited is childhood sexual abuse. And so in this community, it's very important to us to stop childhood sexual abuse in order to prevent further trafficking. And I just want to recognize Lumpkin County. That's a huge deal that such a small county was able to train not just their law enforcement professionals, but their school professionals. And I know, Captain, you and I talked earlier, and I wish we could talk now, but you and I talked earlier, and you said you expect from August to November for your child sexual abuse report cases to just skyrocket because those kids are back in school. And that's where a lot of your reports come from, is those trained individuals who not only know how to recognize the signs of childhood sexual abuse, but how to respond to it appropriately and how to report it to the proper authorities. And I just want to thank you for what you guys have done and for what you're doing up there. And I know you have a CAC up there and a Child Advocacy Center. We've had lots of CACs on our program to talk about how they respond to children who have been victimized. And I just want to thank you for your hard work and for the school system that you have up there in the CAC.
Hey, Captain, I've got your mic turned back on now. Still getting a lot of clicking, but I did want you just to be able to say a word after Faith's comments.
Yes, I thank you for having me on. And we did the training a few years ago with all of our law enforcement and the teachers to just make sure they recognize, sexual abuse, way kids acting and behaving inside the classroom or outside the classroom. And it's very important to us that that's recognized quickly and that the students do, or the children do come forward with that and report it, because we do sometimes, it goes 5, 10, 15 years before somebody reports something. And the quicker it's reported to us, then the quicker we can jump on it and hopefully solve the case.
Well, thank you, Captain, for your leadership up there and for all you guys are doing to help to help end it. We appreciate you being on today.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Hey, we've got Keith Wade on from from the BCM, which stands for Baptist Campus Ministries. And Keith, I got to say that, I mean, you know, you heard Faith and the mayor talking about the wineries and all that. I mean, I'm a Baptist, okay? So my fraternity at the University of Georgia was the Baptist Campus Ministry, right? And I mean, during UGA game days, we had giant signs on the glass saying, no alcohol in this building. So we were teetotalers over there. So, I mean, I live next to a winery, Chateau Alon, hear Faith talking about all the wineries up there. So it's an aspect of life I've never fully been able to experience. But all kidding aside, Keith, these campus ministries are an important home away from home for students, maybe leaving home for the first time, aren't they?
We certainly are, especially coming out of what the pandemic last year. Some of these students did all of their classes online. And so even last year, just doing ministry here up in North Georgia, we were just able to help students stay connected, to have a place, to feel welcome, to feel loved in a sense that they probably wouldn't have had if they were just stuck in their dorm rooms, just doing classes, which a lot of them, that's what they were doing, is that they were on campus, but they were online students. And so practically meaning they were in their dorm room all the time. So we just try to provide a space for them to come and to feel loved, to be loved, and also for us to get a chance to help them on their faith journey, tell them Jesus, help them where they can. And so,
yeah, you know, people come to our state from out of state, and maybe they come from a state where faith doesn't seem to be as important. They get here and they see that faith really permeates a lot of things in Georgia. And I know it's such an important part of my life and Faith, my assistant's life, and your life. And as kids go off to college, you know, they get there. And for me, that freshman year in college was such a profound time of spiritual growth in my life because I was away from my parents. In fact, I never really ever went back home and lived for more than a week or two. Even in the summer, I was working as a youth minister at First Baptist of Cochran or another church, and eventually starting a ministry myself. So faith has been such an important part of my life, and you being there at that time of their life, wow, such a resource.
Yeah, and freshman year is such a crucial. I've got some students, and we wrote about 350 cards to incoming students that filled out one of our welcome forms. And so we're getting ready to drop that in the mail, and just to say, hey, we're glad that you're here. You have a home away from home. We want to love on you. We want to take care of you, and just let them know that this is who we are. We value Scripture. We value evangelism, discipleship, service, outreach, church involvement. And also small groups to have that authentic community that most students are looking for, is just to have that community aspect and to be able to feel loved and welcome and to be able to share openly and what's going on in their lives. So. Well,
Keith, thank you for the work that you're doing there. Faith, we got to get him down here to do a devotion at the PSC.
Yeah.
We have a devotion here.
When we start doing them live again. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Faith will send you something on that, Keith. We'd love to have you down. And you can see some of that Dahlonega gold that's up on top of that state capitol, just that dome just next door. So, Keith, thanks so much for all you're doing up there. And I've got to get up there on campus, and I'd love to come and maybe speak at one of your meetings and share my testimony and how God used BCM in my own life.
We will work on seeing how we can squeeze that in. So
great.
Thanks,
Thank you so much, Keith. Appreciate it. Hey, we got my buddy Andrew live outside of his very cool home. Andrew, you got a lot of renewable features on your home. So welcome to Community Focus, and tell us a little bit about your home there.
Yes, sir. It's in Lumpkin County, of course, right at the end of 400. If you keep on going straight, we're right here. And there it is. That's where I'm standing. To the left of that, you can see the panels behind me on the garage there. We also have 10 kilowatts total of solar. A third there over the back deck, and then there's a third you can't see unless you have a drone on the opposite side of the house. And then we also have batteries in the basement, along with our inverter and the other things you need for solar to connect to the grid. And that, down in the bottom right there, you see the 20 kilowatt hours of batteries, which allowed us and will in the future to power ourselves, my kitchen primarily, the water heater and the water pump, if the grid should happen to fail, as it did in October with the windstorm. This neighborhood lost power for about 40 hours, and my kitchen stays alive, along with everything in the kitchen, the refrigerator, those other appliances, which are critical for life. I can't run my air conditioning off that. Of course, in October, you don't need to. But air conditioning is nice, but somehow we survive for thousands of years without it. So it can be done.
Wow, Andrew, the solar plus the batteries are all the rage. I'm not only hearing that about half of the solar installs going in wind up getting batteries as they install them. So the solar companies have gone into the battery business, but we just approved about 900 megawatts of utility scale. And for folks that are doing the math, 960 megawatts. Let me just do the math here. 960 megawatts. That's about 5,700 acres. 5,700 acres of solar. Andrew, three of those, there were five arrays making up that 5,000 acres. So you figure about an average of about 1,000 acres apiece. Three of those, 3/5 of those included batteries, utility scale batteries, to help smooth that solar out and make it more consistent. So batteries really do a lot, both on the home and in the field for solar, doesn't it?
It does, and it's critical. With just solar, if the grid goes down, usually your house or facility also goes down until the grid comes back. With batteries, energy storage, you can begin, once you crunch the numbers on how much energy do you need to function, and then make sure you have enough battery storage, and maybe a little excess in case you go long or whatnot. Someone's long-winded, say. Then you can basically become independent of the grid for those outages. You can still remain connected to the grid, because undoubtedly some days you might produce more power than your batteries can store or that you're going to use. So you can still sell that back to your neighbors or the utility. I was fortunate with this. Jackson EMC actually has a wonderful grant that paid for about 25% of my panels. So about $4,500 came straight from Jackson EMC, $450 per kilowatt for a total of 10 kilowatts for residents.
Wow.
So I have to,
That's a great shout out. Faith, I know, you've been with me a long time and you've heard me talk about the impact that I believe the electric F-150 is going to have, because not only does it have true four-wheel drive, not only will its batteries be made in Georgia, not only will it outrun a Corvette, but Andrew or anyone else would be able to plug that in to their system in their house and essentially use it as another battery to power their home. How cool is that, Faith?
That's the coolest thing to me. And Matt and I, my husband and I, love camping. And to me, that's the biggest draw of that electric F-150 is the ability to essentially power yourself wherever you are, wherever your truck can go, you have a battery.
Yeah. Andrew, how excited are you about vehicle to grid technology that I just mentioned?
Oh, it's very exciting because all in electric car, you can see the Nissan Leaf behind me there that my son drives, is just a big battery on wheels. That one has a 26 kilowatt hour battery, so it's a little bit bigger than the batteries in my basement. The Bolt, which is up there, you can't quite see from where I am, has a 60 kilowatt hour battery. So once you crunch the numbers on it, the average American home uses about 1,000 kilowatt hours a month. So once you do that math, and then what you use each day, you can begin to use your electric car, if you're not going to drive anywhere, as a huge storage device that you already perhaps have, or looking forward to buying the new Lightning F-150 is very exciting.
Yeah. Well, Andrew, I've been to your home. We've done a radio show there on your front porch. You are leading the way in this technology. Just want to give you a shout out. Thank you for your military service as well. We really appreciate folks that, at least I do, appreciate folks that go out, make a substantial investment, try out the technology, share the pluses and the minuses, kind of learn how to make it work. So I really appreciate you being an energy pioneer.
Thank you. And I have to thank Southern Energy View, who installed it, everything flawlessly as well, based in Gainesville, Georgia.
Well, I want to pull our folks back into our stream as we say goodbye to everyone on this day. Mayor, someone texted me a few minutes ago who's watching and said, don't forget to tell everyone that all of those wineries up there now have electric vehicle charging. So if you're a Tesla driver or any EV driver like myself, I'm plugged in right outside here at the Capitol. We can come up there and have destination charging at the location and then be able to get back to the big city. How about that?
Even on our historic square, with over 100 mom and pop owner operated little stores, we have electric car hookups around town. So we're historic preservation minded, but we also have electric car hookups. So that's
great.
a good thing.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Keith, thank you for all you're doing up there, working with students, doing the Lord's work. And Andrew, appreciate your leadership. And I'm going to be doing these TIM Awards. I'm calling the TIM Sustainability Awards. I gave a couple in Savannah last week. One for the Old Town Trolley that uses propane in their trolley buses instead of diesel. So I gave them an award. The city of Savannah for using electric cars for their parking enforcement. And Andrew, I'm giving you a TIM Award today for mountain leadership in sustainability. You're the man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, everybody, have a fantastic weekend. Appreciate you being on. Faith, where are we going to be next week?
Next week, we're going to be in Canton, Georgia. And then the week after that, Winder, and middle of August, we'll be down in Dublin.
All right. It sounds great. Everyone have a fantastic weekend, and thanks for joining us on Community Focus.
Thanks so much, everybody.